All right, here we go. We're rolling. This episode, The Gospel of Fire. I'm here with my homegirl, Pita. What up, girl?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. How are you? You're coming off a win a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Break the girl's jaw?
Yeah, I did actually.
Why'd you do that?
The girl is really long, and I had already taken her down like 5 or 6 times, and I think she was ready for the takedowns. I changed the tempo. Honestly, it was like a gymnastics kick. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little like hopping. That's why the cheerleader in gymnastics came out in me. And then I and usually if you kick with the right leg, you come back with the left arm. Well, I just switched it up. I knew I wanted to switch it up. Did a little hop, switch kick, and then came back with that same arm. And it was just, her hand was down because the kick was at the body. She lowered it. It just was perfect. And I saw her head snap. I didn't know it was broken at that time because I just it was so.
It's hard to tell,
easy.
right? It's not like their jaw pops out.
No, but it was almost too easy. And in my mind, somehow in all of that time, in my mind, I was like, whoa, when judo throws are perfect, they're easy. And I was I think I got her. That's when I just started going after her jaw again, and then she stopped it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Well, hell yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
How many fights is that for you? 2?
Pro, yeah.
2 pro? Yeah,
I had 3 fights as an amateur and 2 fights as a pro.
5 fights.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you're starting to be a fighter.
Yeah, I know, right? We're getting in there.
I have a friend though, my friend Jay used to say that you're not a fighter until you lose one. Because it's
knock on wood. No, I'm not there yet.
No, but he said it's like a rite of passage. Everyone, you know this from judo, right? Yeah. Everyone can ride the wave.
Oh yeah.
To go out there and crush everybody. Oh fuck yeah, right? How hard's that? But
it's easy to be on top.
Yeah, to get crushed and then to choose to do that again is kind of shitty.
It's a very mentally challenging thing, I think, more than anything. Physically, anybody can do it. I mean, I think Vince Lombardi has one of the best quotes. It's the body can withstand most anything. It's your mind you have to convince. And that it really is. I mean,
I read something once that said, physically, the human body on no food could, walk from New York to California. I have no clue if this is fucking true.
I mean, I believe it.
But your mind is what goes. Your feet, you lose the will to do it.
Yeah, your mind will break before your body for sure.
Your bodies. I mean, our bodies are made rather tough.
Yeah, it's pretty insane what the body can do.
So anyway, I know so little about you. All I know is that you have somewhat of you seem very interesting to me.
Oh,
and
I'll take that.
And I have a goal, and you are helping fit my goal. Let's say, in that I'm trying to lead. I'm trying to bring awareness to the world about how to be positive and be strong, and it's mostly been focused on males. And I'm a male. Mm-hmm. I have 2 male children, but I don't want to be there are things about Jordan Peterson that I really like that he says that I like. There's Jordan Peterson is?
No.
Okay, there's things about him that he says that I fucking hate. The thing that I think I hate the most about him though is that his following is 90% men.
Huh.
Because he can be a little off-putting towards women sometimes. He calls femininity chaos.
I mean, I don't disagree with him entirely. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Me either. I'm married to Pita to him, But so I don't want an all male following.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a male. I'm probably going to have more of a male following than a female following. That's okay. And you're probably going to have more of a female following than a male following. That
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be 90-10.
Okay.
Right? I don't want it to be 90-10. I want it to be at its highest 65-35.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find chicks that I feel are badass.
Awesome. All right, I'll take that as a compliment. Eliot called me a badass. I'm gonna put this on
and I'm not talking about a badass in fighting.
Just in life.
Just in life. Just in life. And what I call a badass is someone who continually tries to challenge themselves. Mm-hmm. Right? They're constantly pushing for greatness because that's hard. It's so fucking hard. And you did that, right? So you started with judo, and tell me a little bit. I don't know anything about you in judo.
Yeah,
I know you were
the crazy
a judoka.
Part? My main sports actually were, my whole life, my main sports were cheerleading, gymnastics, and judo. Mostly being gymnastics and cheerleading.
Hold on. You were cheerleading and you're gay.
Yeah.
And you were a gay cheerleader?
Yeah.
Because normally the cheerleaders all the football players are trying to bang the cheerleaders.
That is true.
So this didn't go well for them.
No, not so much. But there are a lot of cheerleaders are gay actually.
Are they really?
Surprisingly, yeah. I know, I've dated them. No.
Trust me, I'm aware.
No, but cheerleading was.
And you're not talking about the males.
No, I'm not talking about the male. Trust me. No, but I cheered for 23 years.
Okay.
And I did gymnastics for, I don't know. I started in like the mommy and daddy and me classes, and all the way till I was about 14, 15, which is old for gymnastics. And then I've coached all the way really up until I moved out here.
So when the fuck did you start judo?
At 7. So I always did the sports together.
Okay.
So it's just, but I started with gymnastics and cheerleading.
You move closer to that mic.
There you go. Is that better?
Thank
okay,
you.
awesome. No, but
and I can turn the gain up too, so we can both help it out.
Hey, helping. No, but yeah, so that's, I mean, cheerleading and gymnastics were my love. And then my little brother did judo first. And then there was like once a week I could go watch. And so I would go watch him do judo. And my coach at the time was trying to like build his judo program. I was like, you should do judo. And I'm like, all right, sure. And my parents wanted me to learn to defend myself, so why not? And, you know, I was just at that time, and I was like ripped, 6-pack, and like just yoked because I was a gymnast, you know, super strong, super flexible, and judo just clicked. Like, it was weird. I think because I had so much body awareness of myself that when I had to grab somebody and put them in a different position, I almost like knew how to feel. Like it was like feeling came very easily to me. So a little bit different. So it just
kind of worked.
Yeah, man. And then when I got older, I would say, you know, because I mean, I always won. Like it was great. It was like, you know, the first year or whatever, I won like state and then nationals and then junior Olympics, and it just kept going and going and going. And by the time I got to high school, you know, I was already on the national team, and I was like fighting juniors and seniors and like all this stuff. And, you know, so then it became like very real that an Olympic run was, you know, in the future.
Possible.
Yeah. And so I, that was one of the hardest things I ever had decisions I had to make was the end of high school was, it's horrible.
Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
LA.
Yeah. Well, it's still LA County. I went to high school in Lancaster, California.
Okay.
But the biggest thing was I going to go to college and cheer, or was I going to go to the Olympic Training Center and do judo?
What year were you born?
1988.
1988. So you don't remember all the crazy stuff in LA then?
Like the riots?
Like the riots. You remember them, but it wasn't like part. I know. I
actually remember it a lot more than most people my age because my dad's LA City Fire Department. He's a firefighter. So I remember sitting there with my mom watching the news, and I mean, she didn't know where her husband was, and like, I mean, he's out there somewhere. We just didn't know.
And you see people getting just fucked up, especially like fire.
Yeah, and they're just trying to help.
Yeah, they're just trying to help, and they're getting fucked up. I just watched a documentary on the riots.
Yeah. Was it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Okay, I heard about it. I wonder, is it good? Worth watching?
Well, it depends on your perspective.
Okay.
Like my perspective of the world is, yeah, you know, why I feel like people, you know, that riot wasn't just about Rodney King.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't. Yeah, yes. I don't think so.
You know,
either.
If you take the perspective of, oh fuck you, you're looting, you know what I mean? Like then you're not gonna like that. But if you take the perspective of, man, there's got to be a reason why these motherfuckers are looting, and it can't just be because one black guy got beat up.
No, it can never just be that one thing, especially with something as large as that. And we're talking about Los Angeles, one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So. Yeah, if you think, you know, I know we diverged a little here, but if you think the Rodney King thing was about Rodney King was the proof. Rodney King was the proof that this had been happening to the black community for a long time.
He wasn't the first person.
He wasn't the first person. He was like the millionth person it happened to, and somebody finally recorded it.
Yeah, I know. Just technology advanced, basically.
Just got lucky. The guy was just in his house, right? With one of you remember those big ass video cameras that you had to like hold?
Put on your shoulder.
Yeah, like the news crew has now.
Barely remember those, but I do.
Now we have these cell phones. Look, like, my cell phone's standing. Look at that. It's still standing over there. Fuck yeah, you have no clue how hard those gimbals are to use when you're an idiot like me. Like, to get that to stand still, that was 20 minutes.
I mean, hey, it worked. If it works,
it's working. We'll see if it works. Right. Anyway, back to you. So judo it was.
So, yeah, and I went to the Olympic Training Center, and, you know, the Olympic Training Center, at that time...
So you were born in 88, so we're talking, what, 18 years later? Mm-hmm. So we're talking like 2016? 2006, yeah, sorry.
2006. But, you know, I went to the Olympic Training Center. Of course, like every person has a, you know, dream. Well, not every person. At least in my world, I thought their dream was to go to the Olympics.
Well, everyone has a dream of something.
Exactly. There we go.
Everyone has a dream of something.
But when I was, you know, it's crazy. When I was 7 years old, I was my dream was I just want to be the greatest athlete that ever lived. You know, it was really weird. I don't know why. Like, I can't say anything in particular sparked it. It was just like my own drive. Probably from gymnastics. You know, gymnastics coaches are tough, man. They're tough. But so go to the Olympic Training Center in 2006.
What makes them so tough?
I mean, the hours you have to put in to be a gymnast. And not only that, I think people sometimes, yes, there's the strain. I mean, obviously gymnasts are ridiculously strong, but to be able to make your body do those things, it's not, I mean, yes, very, very physical. Obviously you have to be, it's extremely physical, but your mind has to be strong because you take blows. Like one time I peeled off the bar because my grip ripped, peeled off the bar, flew into the bottom bar, you know, and like folded in half, like, and it's just like, and like your coach looks at you. And if you even think about shedding a tear, like it wasn't even an option. I was like 7. I was like, you know, like you just don't. And to get up and do that again, you know, and then on beam was a tough one too, because it's 4 inches and you have to do backflips on a 4-inch beam.
Sure, it's hard.
Sometimes your hands miss and your head goes straight into the beam, and sometimes your feet miss and your body and it's just I think that mental part. And then what they do as far as strength and conditioning goes, they will go until they can break you or break most of the team, but like it's such a mind game that you're not allowed to be broken, if that makes sense. Like they will push you. I mean, our warm up used to be 100 perfect pull-ups, like hands facing forward, perfect hollow position, tight, no movement. If your body swung or moved at all, didn't count. 1 all the way up.
So you have a coach sitting there watching you do pull-ups, and they're like,
yeah, that was part of our warm up before we even started stretching or anything. 100 perfect pull-ups, and then hanging from the bar and lifting our legs all the way, touch our toes, slowly come down. 100, and that was our warm up. That was not our conditioning. That was just our warm up. And then we get into like a 4-hour practice. I could when I was, young.
Sure.
Now, I mean, I can still do pull-ups, still do leg lifts. I still do rope climbs without legs and everything, but not to the extent I used to when I was a kid. I was a beast when I was a kid. I have pictures of like a bathing suit, just shredded. I was like, oh my God.
All the girls loved you.
I don't even remember that. I think all I cared about were sports at that time, for sure.
Normally it's when you're ready, it's all the girls love you as a boy, right? You're like, all the girls love you.
All the girls love me.
The only reason I wanted abs was to have girls.
That makes so much sense now. That's why I cared so much.
For me, I was like, God, I gotta have abs. I gotta have abs. If I have abs, I'll get girls. If I have abs, I'll get girls, And like
that did help when I got older. I realized. I was like, oh, so that's how I got Lynn. It was the abs. No,
So you're at the OTC, and is that where you met? Like, I mean, so you're friends with Rhonda? I didn't know.
No, actually, I met.
Until I saw your Instagram this week.
Yeah, no. We've been friends. I think I met her when I was like 8 or 9 years old. No, we've been friends our entire lives. So, we grew up. So we're both from Southern California. So the whole judo world there kind of knows it. And she and I we were always different weight divisions, and so we were on the junior national team, and we always traveled together. And then her mom and my mom became friends too, and they're still friends to this day. So like we literally grew up together.
Just grew up together.
Yeah. So But so actually at the Olympic Training Center is when I saw Rhonda the least, because she went to Boston with Jimmy Pedro, and I went to the Olympic Training Center. And she's a couple years older than me, so.
Gotcha. And she paved the way for what is
MMA, yeah.
Females in MMA, and then like judoka's in MMA too, right? Like you guys.
Yeah, and she's the one that really convinced me, which I'll get into, because kind of goes into with what happened at the Olympic Training Center for judo with me. But let's start with that.
Go.
I go to the Olympic Training Center, and I mean, at that time I was #1 juniors. I think I was like 3rd or 4th in seniors and in the country, and traveling the world and all this stuff. And my future looks great. If somebody when I was 18 years old would have told me that I was not going to make an Olympic team, I would have laughed in their face. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, seriously? Like, I did not ever imagine myself not making an Olympic team. So, life is life. I think I learned how to deal with life at the Olympic Training Center. Right when I moved, I mean, within a month or 2 of moving to the Olympic Training Center, my judo coach that I talked about, I had from age 7 till I was 18. He was English. He was from England, but he actually passed away suddenly at age like 46 or something of a random heart attack. Yeah, I mean that was like God.
The Widowmaker, it's called.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah, it's my wife's a nurse practitioner, and there's a heart attack where like nothing's wrong, you're fine, everything's good, and then.
Yeah, I have no idea. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, but for me, it was like, and he was actually going to move to Colorado Springs, like later, like pretty soon after that. And it just like, man, I literally his name is Steve Bell. I literally used to talk to him every day, you know? And so that was like, ugh. And then it was like it used to be a joke. Like my coach from the Olympic Training Center, who's Olympic bronze medalist, Eddie Liddy, he literally, like, at one point at the training center was like, you know, he goes, I don't even know what to tell you. He goes, I don't know how to deal with you. He goes, I've never had to deal with this. He goes, I've never had someone have such bad luck. And I was like, well, shit, thanks, I guess. I'm like, what the fuck?
So hold on, what was the bad luck that you coached?
So it started with him. Yeah. And then it was like a ripple effect. Just everybody kept dying in my life. It was him. And then right after my grandpa, and then my grandma. And then it was who always lived down the street from us, and we were just very young. My grandma was 70, so it was still like, you know, everything was my grandpa, and then my grandma, then my cousin was murdered, and then one of my really good friends growing up died in a car accident on the way home from Vegas, and it was just like,
fuck. So
oh no, it keeps going. It was a joke. It was like a fucking joke. At one point, I remember
how old were you when, like, what's the time span of your life?
Started at 18, and then it finally like died down a little. Died down, but like, you know, calmed down a little when I was probably like 24.
So you went from how many people?
Oh shoot, I'd have to count. At least a dozen. At least a dozen, and all people that are close to me. Yeah. So it was just it was tough.
I mean, that's going to happen to all of us when we get older.
It does, yeah.
But not when you're 18.
And I also had just moved to the Olympic Training Center. I was away from all my family. Everybody I know is in Los Angeles, you know. I have some family in Arizona, but everybody else is in LA. And it was like, I guess I just didn't, I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I really took, and for me, like, these are people I cared about so much. And I let it affect my performance immensely.
Did you go into drugs and drinking and all that? Or?
I did, actually. And that's funny because I had never done any drugs before in my life before that. I mean, the first time I ever smoked weed, I was like 21 years old or something, like 20 or 21. It was like, you know, and you're in Colorado, you have to try it. You know, I was just like, and but we got drug tested all the time. I've been getting drug tested by USADA since I was like 14 years old or something in WADA. So you know, you just can't really do anything. But I remember at one point not really caring. And then, I actually ended up having like multiples, like tons of surgeries on my like metal and all kinds of surgeries.
Not really caring, like
I just didn't care about, you know. And like I told you, when I was 7, I wanted to be the greatest athlete that ever lived, and now here I am. I'm much older. I'm in this, like, the Olympics are coming up and everything, and I just didn't care. I remember like not caring about life. Almost.
Do you think you think it had to do more with like the death around you, or do you think it had to do with like the pressure since you were 7 years old?
Definitely the death, because now that I've learned how to deal with stuff, that's why I appreciate MMA so much, which I can get into too, but in a little bit, but I've learned to deal with it now. Like my cousin passed away right before my fight. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's my cousin, so he's young, he's in his 30s, and it was like his dad, his dad was murdered, and his son was also killed.
And
so
was this during
this last camp? No, this was from this last camp.
All of them died again?
Well, no, my uncle died when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then and that was my first experience with death, was like my uncle being murdered. So that kind of got me a little, you know what I mean? But then I got older and just kept and I remember breaking my family's heart so much. And I just like, I was close to him too. I was really close to my uncle. He was living in my parents' house, like down the street from us. And it you know, your first experience with death, you know, somebody gets murdered, and someone who you just saw the other day. So
your first experience with death is a murder.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I was
just
7
like
years old.
Somebody died of old age.
So that, and it was my mom's brother, and he was literally living down the street from us at the time. So that was tough.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay. Trust me, I've like had to.
I just want to make sure.
Oh, no, I'm good. So that was, you know, and then so when I was older and people started dying, I remember that it was like that feeling came back, and I just like over and over, and everybody, and it was like my family and like close friends, and my coach was like a second dad to me, you know, and so that was that. But then, for example, this last fight that I just had 2 weeks ago, right before, like a week before my fight or something, my cousin passed away. And yeah.
So obviously just unexpected again.
Yeah. Super young. Don't really want to get into too much about it, okay. But, yeah. And, I was talking to Cody Donovan, and, he literally was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't remember what he said, to be honest. It was kind of a blur. It was like cutting weight and all that. It's right before my fight. And he's just like, all right, we're going to get through this kind of thing. Like, you know, sorry, but we're going to get through this, like, kind of thing. And, you know, and because I had been through all of that in judo and I know how I fucked up so much, you know what I mean? That I was like, okay, I cried. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to get this fucking fight over with, and then I'll deal with it at the funeral after.
Right. How did you fuck up in judo? Go
so,
back to that.
I mean, and plus it was also that party age where, you know, you're in college.
Hold on. It's not like it's hard to fuck up.
When you're 18 to like, in your 20s.
This is easy.
So, yeah. And I would drink a lot, but not like crazy. I mean, nothing was ever crazy until I had surgery. And then I got sent to a pain doctor and I was just given fed pills. Like, and it was like, and I knew at one point I remember I was like, I don't fucking need these, but I still would go get my prescription every month, you know, like happy as shit. Bad too. Like, I mean, I was taking, and I'm not a very big person. I was taking enough to like kill like huge animals probably. And the doctor was just giving anything I wanted. The doctor gave to me. It was a joke. It literally was like a joke. I was like, I don't even fucking need this
People
stuff.
talk about the drug problem. The drug problem is like the biggest drug problem is U.S. doctor created.
Yeah, man. But the thing is, I knew what I was doing. I knew it was wrong, but I wanted to do it. It was nice to not feel.
Yeah, but you can't get that shit without a doctor.
I mean, you could.
I mean, you can, right? But somebody doctor prescribed it.
Somebody starts you on it, and that's what it was for me. I mean, we're at the Olympic Training Center. I hate saying this, and I'm sure people will get mad at me, but I learned to do drugs at the Olympic Training Center. Don't they say that about the Olympics though? Like, it's a huge fuck fest where everyone comes back with an STD because like you're like, oh, look at all these in shape people that are good looking. And everybody like all has the same mentality. You know, when you're around a lot of like-minded people, that's very attractive. It is, you know,
for sure.
So it was, you know, and I mean, think about it. If people fight, gymnasts, whatever, everybody does pills because it's like, and you can't smoke weed because at the time, you know, USADA wouldn't let you have any in your system. Well, pills are in and out, you know. And then some of them,
and you have them prescribed by a doctor.
Exactly. So there are ways around it. You can switch up the pills during fights because there's in competition testing and out of competition testing. So I had it down. I was on it.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy. It kind of surprises me that a lot of people didn't know, because I was actually very functioning. I actually felt like I was doing so much better because it was so nice to not feel. I was hurting so deep inside, and there was so much about me that, you know, I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to in judo. And I knew I had let it go. And because I chose to like let all these deaths affect me, you know, and I know that's not an excuse or anything, but I learned from it. And I think that's the difference. So when I got to MMA, I was like, listen, I didn't fucking make an Olympic team. I was like, there is no fucking way in hell that I'm not going to be, you know, UFC champion one day. Like I refuse to not be successful in MMA. Refuse to do it. To not be successful. There we go.
How did you get out of your hole though?
Well, you know, I had several attempts. Eventually it was about the time too when Rhonda was like, dude, you need to do MMA, like come out here, come visit. And then judo had just changed the rules too. So you couldn't grab the legs anymore. And I loved attacking the legs. And it was just I just remember being in South America and I came off the mat and I looked at my coach and he was just like, we both kind of looked at it. I think we both knew. Like, I was burnt out. I was done. I was done with judo.
I gotta ask you a question, too.
Yeah.
The referees in judo.
Yeah.
I've been watching all these fucking people get put to sleep, and the referee just stands there and looks at them like they don't know what to do afterwards. Like, I watch them on the gram.
Oh, really?
You know? And the referee just, like, stands over them.
Waits for them to wake up.
Waits for them to wake up. Like,
yeah, that happens a lot. I don't know. They're all from different countries, so maybe the communication's, like, off or something like that. I don't know. But it's true. They hilarious. Really do.
They do nothing.
They just wait, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, they'll get up.
And then, like, 10 seconds later, you see these medical people come running out. I'm like,
they're just like, like, they're so used to it. They're like, whatever.
Fuck, you guys have some nasty collar chokes. You guys are really good at like clock chokes and stuff like that. You get on them fast.
One I call like with the British roll when someone tries to jump underneath me. It was like one of my best ones. I loved that one. Right, it's a good one. I'll show you that one day.
So you get out. So you again, how'd you got out of the hole? How?
Okay,
like, what did you do to get out of that hole?
Well, you know, deep down inside, I knew this wasn't me. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't. I mean, at first it seemed to do great. Like it was, you know, everything training was easier. You know, everything was better. And then
we said it's always easy when you're winning. Like that's the easiest. Like,
well, and not only that, like my body wasn't hurting. You know, I broke my neck when I was 14, and like, you know, I have all these surgeries, and like I'm I'm like, oh my God, like I feel great, you know, I was training really hard. Everything was great. And I just remember it was about the time Rhonda and I were like, she was just telling me I needed to come out to California.
And she was done, right? She was done.
She was
judo.
already in MMA. She was already in the UFC, actually, right before the UFC or somewhere around that
she was
time.
in Strikeforce.
Yeah, it was either that or her first fight or something in the UFC. But so I went to, actually the first time I like decided I was going to move. I had already gone to visit her and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I was like, if I stay in Colorado, I'm just going to keep going to this doctor. And I'm just going to, literally, this is going to kill me. Because it was starting to get bad. You know, nodding off at the car, like in cars and driving. And just
While driving, you'd be nodding off?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think it was just, it was time for me. And that wasn't me. I wasn't raised that way. It was time for me to be me. And so I wanted it. It was like, I think when people say you have to want it, I understand that because I really did. It took me several times. Like I went home and I got clean right off the bat, like just cold turkey. But I was something new. I had MMA, I was just learning how to do a jab, or I didn't even know what I was doing. And I was part of Rhonda's camp right away. So it was like, it was fun, exciting. Like,
were you part of her crew? Were you in that crew? I mean, didn't she? I don't know a lot about Rhonda, but I mean, I know that I don't know a lot about Rhonda outside of what like the public knows. Mm-hmm. I know there's like these 4 judo girls that like.
Oh no, I'm not part of the 4 horsewomen. Okay. No, they have their thing. We've just been friends our whole lives.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, no, we're super close. We go on road trips together and stuff, but like, no, it's nothing. I'm not part of the 4 horsewomen.
Gotcha.
No. But yeah, so that's that. And then, no joke, I was in California and living the life in LA, learning MMA, really having fun for once because it was just like, judo was over. There was no pressure about that. And I was just learning MMA. So I had this time period to just like breathe almost.
And were you at home living?
I was living with my parents initially. Yeah. Okay. But I had family everywhere, so I'd stay at family, friends, anywhere. Because LA's so big, so getting from one part of the city to the next is a challenge. And
man, fuck, I'm friends with Brendan Schaub.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and he dated Rhonda.
Yeah, he did. And I was in LA a couple months ago. And I was like, yo, bro, you want to meet up? And he was like, yeah, where are you? I was like, I'm down in whatever. He's like, fuck, man, that's like 2 hours away. Yeah. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I just always forget how big LA is because you're like.
And then add traffic to it,
yeah,
too.
Because then you're just like you're like, we're both in LA. And fuck
but
it, no.
But nowhere near each other.
And we won't see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, and then literally I was out with some friends from high school and like other people I didn't know, and this guy, no joke, breaks up like a pill on the table. We're sitting there at a bar and breaks it up and crushes it up, makes it long. He's like, oh, sorry, I don't want to be rude. Do you want some? And of course I was a little drunk, so I was like, didn't even think about it. I was like, yep. Took that so fast, and then that was it. Then it was like, oh, he knew somebody who knew somebody, and then it was like,
it's on again.
Then I go to the doctor, and the doctor would give me something. It was. But then eventually I would say like the person that, because it was on and off, and then the person actually Lynn, who my partner, put me that's why I moved to Nashville with her. I knew that I needed to get out of California.
So you were with Lynn at this point?
Not at that time. It was about a good year
you knew each other,
span.
Or?
No, not yet actually.
Okay. So then when you meet Lynn, she's the one who gets you out.
Yeah, she's a nurse and she used to work at a pain clinic, and real fast. She realized
she just knew you, right? Like, yeah. She could just see it in you.
And she was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. And I was like, oh shit. Like, damn it, I can't fool her. I could fool everybody else I dated before, but I couldn't fool her. And so I remember it was nighttime, and I just looked at her and I was like, look, let's just go. She's like, you're gonna move to Nashville right now at 11 o'clock at night. I was like, yeah. We packed my Prius and my dog Champ, and we left. Went to Nashville, and she put me through her own rehab.
What's Nashville? Why Nashville?
That's where she lives.
Okay.
Where she lived. She was from Nashville.
But this was in LA at the time.
Yes, she had come to visit me.
Okay.
So we were talking she actually was a fan of mine first. That's how we met. And she messaged me on Instagram.
She on the gram even. She's one of them gram groupies.
She slid into that DM.
Hell yeah.
But
hell yeah, I didn't know what that was till like a year ago when Drew Dover explained it to me.
Really?
He's like, yo man, do you have he's like, but you just I never even checked my DMs. And then I open my DMs and it's hi. And I'm like, oh shit.
Like, oh my God, there's a whole nother world.
I was like, let me delete all these fucking rank echoes.
That's crazy. But yeah, so basically that was it. We actually had a relationship at the time, like via FaceTime and phone first. So like our whole first part of our relationship was like there wasn't anything physical because we hadn't met each other yet. And I think that was the best thing ever, though.
God, I was just talking to my business partner Amal about this. You know?
Oh yeah, I love Amal.
He's the man.
The reason I'm here, actually.
I know.
Oh my God.
Pita, he's the reason we're all here.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
He's the reason that we're all here. Yeah, he was like, man, he has a girlfriend now, you know, but he was like, when he broke, he got a divorce, and he's like, I broke it, you know, and then I think he got a girlfriend very quickly after the divorce, like for like a year, and then like they broke it off, and then like he didn't get another girlfriend for a bit or sleep with anybody.
Really?
He just like hung out with some girls, like as friends, and he was like, oh man, this chick's fucking annoying after like a couple weeks. But the sex was gone. There was no sex. So it was real easy to be like, okay, moved on. Okay, you know what I mean? Because you don't fuck.
It's true.
When we fuck, it gets so complicated.
Yeah, because then you're like, well, this is fun. I'll just keep hanging around because it's fun.
It's like, fun. It's okay. I don't really like them, but let's fuck.
This is fun. I had a boss of mine when I was working at a physical therapy clinic, and he used to always say, he's like, sex is like pizza. I was like, what? I was like, how is sex like pizza?
It's always good.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, it doesn't really matter. He's like, at the end of the day, he's like, pizza's pizza. Like, it may not be the best pizza you've ever had, it may not be the worst, but it's always gonna be decent.
Look,
it's gonna be good.
I hate Domino's. I fucking hate it. My kids love Domino's.
But you'd eat it if it was there.
When I come home, and we only get Domino's like when shit, what did I just do?
No, it's okay.
We only get Domino's when like Renee and I go out or something, my wife, you know, and we come home and there's always like leftover Domino's.
Yeah.
I always have a bite.
Yeah. So that's what
I always have a fucking bite.
And he's like, that's what he said.
Yeah,
so
but
like sex is not going to be, he's like, may not be the best, may not be the worst, but it's still sex. So
like the only times I won't do it is if I have the stomach flu. Other than that, if my wife's like, hey, I'm like, yeah, sure. I feel like absolute dog shit. I've had the worst day ever, but fuck it. Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. Yeah, exactly.
She's not that way. But I'm definitely that way. She's like, you just had a terrible day. You explained how awful this was, and you're trying to have sex with me? I'm like, well, my day could be better.
Yeah, no, let's finish this day right.
So I think you're ready. I have a good story. So she was pregnant with our second kid, you know? And this might be too much for you, but sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
She was pregnant with our second kid, and she was so sick again, you know? And like, this might be news to all of everyone out there, but like high school boys, when you're home sick from school, you probably jerk off like 5 times a day.
Really?
Because you're home because you can at least feel better for
you
can at least feel better for that 1 minute, you know? Like, so.
He's like, I felt great for 35 seconds.
35 seconds, 5 times now, right? So you got like 5 minutes of feeling better, you know? So I was like, hey babe, I can run down the hall, like, and just leave you alone. And like, I'm not trying to have sex with you right here, you know? And if you want to, like, do your thing, and then I'll come back. And she's like, what in the world would make you fucking think that I wanted to do that? And then I explained this high school boy, like, sick home thing. And she looks at me, she goes, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? She goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then she just rolls over and goes,
you're like, well, that didn't go as I had planned.
I was like, look, I'm not even trying to get laid, babe. I'm just trying to help you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know this will make you feel better.
Yeah, just for 30 seconds, like 30 seconds of reprieve. You know?
Oh my God, that's great.
She was like, fuck you.
Goodbye. Good night. Or good night. Whatever.
She's like, am I really married to you? I'm like, yep, and you're having my kid.
Oh my gosh, she's like, great. And then it's another boy. She's like, now I know what little white boys are gonna do.
well, the best part about having a boy was like at like 6 months old, they just start grabbing their little peckers.
Really?
Yeah, like that, like, you know, their just hand goes on their pecker, and she looks at me and she goes, "You guys can't help it, okay?"
Oh.
So that was nice.
Well,
that was nice. That made her feel better.
Huh.
You know, because she was like, you guys really can't help it. Like, if he's doing it already, like, he's had no experience in the world. He doesn't even know what that is. Right? Like, he can't control it to pee.
You tell I haven't been around a lot of little kids.
Yeah. You know, he can't control it to pee. Right? But he wants to touch it.
Huh. Interesting. Boys. Yeah, I learned a lot about little boys.
Anyway, back to the relationships with Lynn. You guys were over FaceTime.
Yeah, you know? That's where we started at, right? I was like,
because I said it's good, right? Like the next, when you have relationships, if you could avoid the sex sometimes, then you would.
You really get to know someone, and that's what we had.
If you like them.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was that. And then, I mean, she had come to visit me a few times, and we started this relationship and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, I was definitely not going down a good path at all. And again, even though I'd clean and then not, and clean and then not. And but I couldn't fool her, man. I couldn't fool her. So so
how long have you guys been together now?
Oh, crap.
Oh, crap. Sorry, Lynn.
Like
my wife's
few years.
To a few years. All right, sounds good.
I have an alarm set in my phone.
Fuck yeah! All right, sounds good. My wife only remembers my wife only remembers my birthday because it's 7/7, so she can't fuck it up. You know. I
know Lynn's birthday.
There you go.
It's November 10th.
There you go.
But I don't know why.
Sure.
Anyway,
dates don't matter. Dates don't matter. And I don't edit. I'm really sorry.
It's been a few years, basically.
So you moved to Nashville because that's where she is.
Yeah, and she put me through her own rehab, basically. Like, I was on her couch in her bed, and that was it.
But you can't it's hard to cold turkey that shit. It's dangerous to cold turkey.
It's very dangerous. Yeah, and we had actually gotten a few pills before we left because she's like, I'm not sitting in a car for 30 hours with you.
Right.
Like when you're detoxing.
And it can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
You like that, you can die.
Yeah, and that was the good thing. I mean, she would check my vitals all day and stuff like that. And we kind of tapered down going through the drive, and then it was just. And plus, I was like where I had no idea, like didn't know anybody.
You moved everything. There was nothing.
It was great.
Nothing.
I mean, it wasn't great. Actually, it was really, really hard.
Sure.
So that was that. And then it sucks. Actually,
how long were you in Nashville?
A year.
Okay.
And then I actually had a stint where I got back on them because right before like an amateur fight of mine, this coach that I had at the time was like, you just need to get through the fight or something. I'm not exactly even sure what happened, but like my arm was from my neck, and he's like, well, just give her painkillers, like, and even knowing that I had a problem, but whatever. That was that. And so I got a little bit back on them, but then I was like right away got off.
When was the last time you had them?
I don't even remember. It's been like a year and a half or so. Good. It's been like, and I think I had to take one time. Like it was necessary. I don't remember what it was, but
Can you take like ibuprofen or anything like that, or you can't do anything?
I actually don't take anything anymore. I mean,
CBD?
Yeah, I do CBD. Okay. If like I can't sleep and stuff, I do THC and stuff. But
it's a common thing not being able to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard?
I don't know. I think
this was my devil not sleeping.
Really?
4 nights.
Oh wow, no. I don't. Yeah. That's why I have THC or CBD. Like
4 nights and I was just up, lost my shit.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, no. That will talk about mind fucks. Oh my gosh, you
start hearing things and seeing things,
and you get really weird. I get weird when I don't sleep.
Yeah, everyone does. You can't help it.
Yeah, but that's the hardest part about, I feel like, detoxing when off of. Well, I mean, for me it was painkillers. But I like opiates. That was the biggest thing, is like you just cannot sleep. You're miserable. Yeah. Like,
so you're miserable and then you add misery on top of it.
Exactly. Plus your body's like, I need something. But anyway, I mean, Lynn.
She got you.
Yeah. Like I have to thank her so much all the time. I mean, yeah, she's dealt with a lot with me. That's for sure. But yeah, she's my ride or die, man. She has my back. So yeah, that was it. And then, and plus too, I think with that, I know how bad I want this MMA career, and I'm like, I'm not young.
How old are you?
I'm 30, okay. But I had a 20-year judo career first. Right. 8 of those years at the Olympic Training Center. I've traveled this entire world. I've fought the best girls in the world. I was like, I know I can do this. It's like, if I could do a backflip on a 4-inch beam, I better be able to fight. Like, I'm going to figure something out, Like, no.
I go the other way. If I can fucking fight, I can do a backflip on a 4-inch beam.
But yeah, no, I wanted it too much. And that's why Lynn and I have like really made our lives like so positive. Everything we do is geared towards fighting. We're living this dream. She stopped working in Nashville to come here with me, and so, which is hard because she has 2 boys, so she flies to Nashville like every couple of weeks. Like, not a lot of people know that, so sure. we really we sacrifice a lot.
How did you get here?
Okay, so obviously I lived in Colorado Springs for 8 years because I was at the Olympic Training Center, so I knew a lot of people. I'd heard that there was a lot of training in Colorado, but I really didn't know a lot of people in the MMA world. I had only trained with basically Rhonda in California. And then she was doing the WWE.
So it's weird that you didn't end up out there.
And I was in California first.
Okay.
And then And then I moved to Nashville, and
no, that's what I'm saying. But then you came here.
and then I came here because, like, I mean, I trained in Nashville a little, and it just, it was okay. But I realized, I come from high caliber athletes. I realized it wasn't where I needed to be. So we made the sacrifice. I actually, one of my friends, she owns the Corner Boxing Club, Carrie Berry.
Mm-hmm. She used to work for me, yeah.
Yeah. And she, I don't know how exactly it happened, but she was like, "Well, come visit."
How do you know Carrie?
Oh, from the Olympic Training Center.
Okay, so she was a boxer.
She was a boxer,
judo.
yeah.
Okay. You knew Carrie, so you came out here.
I was actually her first friend in Colorado. I didn't know that until recently.
All right.
But Lynn was actually talking to her and her wife and stuff, and Carrie was just like, just come out. Like, she obviously saw, like, that being that I'm, a judo player, I needed to, like, learn
if you
basic
want to do MMA,
striking.
you gotta fucking
I have
punch.
to, like, box, So she was like, come out. And we came out to visit earlier last year. Actually around this time last year.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and I went and trained, what's her name? Heather Jo Clark. Messaged me.
Okay, yep.
Before Heather. Oh, yeah, that's how I know Heather Schmidt, too, because from Easton. Mm-hmm. But then we had also gone to, was it 303? Is that what it's called, training center? So I trained with Rose Namajunas and the girls there and stuff. And I think, it was kind of fun. I mean, obviously I didn't spar with Rose or anything, but I did some throws, took her down a few times and stuff. And she was great. She's awesome.
Yeah, Rose is a great girl.
Yeah, super awesome. So I think after that, it was like, dude, I need to get my shit together. Like, I need to go somewhere. If I need a sacrifice, if I know I don't want to leave Nashville, or I'd rather be in Nashville or Los Angeles. You know what I mean? But I knew, and my gut told me I needed to go. So anyway, training went great out in Colorado. Met Heather Schmidt, love her. She was great.
H-bomb. Heather and I came up together doing jiu-jitsu. So.
Yeah, dude, you guys, both under a mall, man. You guys are both like, you guys, it's great.
Heather's great. And I mean, Amal's Amal,
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, we have none of this without Amal.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so that was that. And then when I actually did a private with Amal, and then Heather came to help, so we could be a body. Partner. Yeah, and that's when I met Amal, and there are just some things he said, and I was just like, this guy is like, I've been around enough elite coaches that I know, like, elite. I know people who really understand what they're doing, and I was like, this guy's incredible. I was like, I want to, like, come here. He's doing something right. Like, I just, and then I did my research. I was like, oh crap, he knows all the, he has a bunch of fighters. Anyway, so Lynn and I, we sold her car and we moved out here. We drove with my dog, yeah. Champ again.
Colorado to California to Nashville, back to Colorado.
Wait, no, started in California.
Okay,
actually, Rhonda got me Champ for my birthday one year. Little puppy. Yeah. She actually said too, she was like, where you're at in your MMA career, that's that's when she was at the same point in her career as when she got her puppy. She said it helped. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay, well, no. Cool. Now Champ's in Colorado, from California to Nashville to Colorado. She's beautiful. She's an all black German Shepherd.
Okay. And you like it here? You like it with?
I do. I mean, it's tough sometimes. Like, I miss family. I really love Los Angeles and the beach and stuff. So.
Oh, I hate LA.
That's what everybody says, but it's my home.
I fucking hate LA.
And Nashville is actually really awesome. Like, I actually really, oh my gosh, I got so big out there. I was like, holy shit. I was like, how do people eat like this all the time?
I went to Nashville for a fight. I like Nashville.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so fun. And people are great. And you know what I love about, at least maybe not the outskirts of Tennessee, but right in Nashville, people dream. And I think that's what I love so much about Los Angeles and Nashville is, like, people are big dreamers and they really will go after something that almost seems like untangible. You know what I mean? And like, with Colorado, it seems to be a little more very much like, let's get the 9-to-5 job and business, like, but as far like team elevation, that's what I love about being around all these teammates and coaches and stuff, is they see, like, they allow you to believe in and reach for your dreams, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm like wording that correct. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we only get to do this once.
Exactly. You guys don't like frown upon not having a conventional job. You know what I mean?
I've never had a job.
That's awesome.
I've had some like shitty like restaurant jobs, but I've never had a job. I've never worked for, so I mean, I guess if you call the UFC a job, then okay. But exactly. It's not a job.
It's not. It's like when you get you know, when you do what you love and you happen to be able to like make a living off of it, I mean, that's incredible. I think that's the ultimate goal. It should be.
I don't want to ever have a job.
Yeah, me either. I want to do what I love.
I work my ass off. You know,
Absolutely.
I work my fucking ass off, but it never feels like work.
Yeah.
You know, like I get to do podcasts and I wrote the book and
which I want to read, by the way.
You want to? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
I'll send it to you now. It comes out next Tuesday.
Oh, it's not out yet.
It's not out yet.
Okay.
And then if you could give me a review on Tuesday, that would be great. It's an easy read too.
Okay.
It's an easy short read.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, so that like I'm not a fan of working. You know,
Me either.
I don't. Yeah, it's just we got stuck somehow, and I get how we got stuck. We came out of the Great Depression, you know.
Yeah.
And
are you gonna eat, or are you gonna like...
Yeah, so like what your passion was went away. Like you need to put food on the motherfucking table.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
And then that generation of people that came out of the Great Depression raised people that said you better have a tangible skill, so you have to go to college. Right.
Yep.
You better have a tangible skill so that people will want to employ you. You will have money, be safe, and not have to worry about the like. You know, if the mill closes.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Gosh.
And now we are we're farther away, right? Now we're a generation of people that is like, man, I don't want to just go fucking work for a living.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think there's anything wrong with having dreams that seriously seem impossible. You know, I really do believe that if someone's willing to put in the work and I'm not saying everybody's dream comes true, but you can help make that dream come true.
The process of dreaming is amazing. The process of chasing your dream is fucking amazing.
Yeah. And
if you take it in stride in the right way, if you take it like, okay, I failed, great, let's learn, let's go. Come on, I failed.
Exactly.
But if the failure crushes you, now you're going to have a problem.
And and that's, luckily I had a 20-year judo career where I failed a lot. So now a lot of those things that people learn, like I already learned, and I'm not gonna fuck that up again.
But you're ready, but you know how to fail.
Exactly.
You know how to fail and then how to move on from the failure. It doesn't end you, you know? It doesn't fucking end you.
Exactly. So. And I think that's something that, it kills me still sometimes. I'm like, how did I not make an Olympic team? You know, but... You know, because there were times I was
Peter,
number one.
It kills me to know the girls that I blew it with in high school. How did I blow it with that girl? So yeah, I get it, right? And then everything up from there, right? Like,
I learned from that one.
Yeah,
though.
you know, like make sure, you know, but it's the way it goes.
Yeah, but so I'm so grateful for that because I really did learn so much. And I'm not gonna fuck any of those things up now in MMA. And yes, I've failed in MMA, but I'm so strong here. Like, I know how strong I am mentally. Like, my last fight camp, I think everything went wrong. Nothing could have gone right.
Nothing could have gone worse.
Yeah.
I mean, gone better.
Gosh, knock on wood. I don't want to think about worse, you know, but...
Sure.
And yeah, even actually today, Cody came up to me and was like, you know, I didn't get to tell you after your fight, but I just want you to know that I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy. He's like, you went through hell for that camp or something like that. You know, it was just like, I'm proud of you. And I was like, thank you.
Good job.
Cody gave me a compliment. I'm like, all right. I'm like doing something right.
Good job.
But yeah, and you know what though? It was my mind. I mean, I think I really, God, and sometimes especially like, because I've had the worst cutting weight experiences, you know, I ended up in the hospital and all that. I mean, I've been cutting weight this year for like 20 years or something like that. Insane, right? Like it's just too much. But I now have a nutritionist. Everything is perfect. My weight cuts are flawless. And it's just, you know, I had so many fails that now I'm just like, I got this. And it makes exactly.
You know how to, and you know it's not going to be perfect.
And I know it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, and you're just okay with it.
And it doesn't matter what people throw at me. Like Dana White told me like last weekend, he was like, you know, people like life is just going to keep throwing shit at you. He's like, it literally is going to wake up and try to punch you in the face every single day. He's like, and it's depends on like you, like how are you, I don't remember how he exactly worded it, but he said, you have to just keep going. You fucking punch that motherfucking, you know, punch that motherfucker in the face and you keep going, you know, and you push and you every single day, you work hard, you know, you never give up. And I think that's something how many years I've been an elite athlete, I think it's pretty crazy that a lot of people are just like, how are you still an athlete? I'm like, because my mind is so strong. that I feel better now than I did when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, I suppose you have the knowledge to go with it.
I got a little wisdom up in here now.
So fuck yeah, Pita. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad you asked me. It's been fun.
I appreciate it. I like hearing people's stories.
Awesome.
You know, and I like.
Oh yeah, you got a little bit of it today.
A little bit of it today. So, and I like I said, I think it's important that everyone's voice gets heard. You know, not you know, especially from people that are different than you. You know, I'm a tall, big, half Jewish, African American, straight male, and you are a short, young, lesbian, you know, female.
Mexican.
So we are Mexican female, so we're different,
From
you know.
Los Angeles.
From LA. I hate LA and you love it. So I think this is something, but we find a common ground.
Yeah.
And I think it's just real important that we hear, even though these outward differences that we all might have together, it's super important that we hear how similar we might be.
And if there's anything, I really just from today, I think of anybody who listens, like I said earlier, Vince Lombardi, the body can withstand most anything. It's your mind you have to convince. I really do think that if you live by that, if you can be the strongest, I'm more scared of a person whose mind is so strong than someone who's physically looks ripped and everything.
David Goggins said it best, callous the brain.
Absolutely.
So we'll end right there.
Awesome.
Thanks, Pita.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.